Hey guys, Stefan Fischer here from All Off Road. I hope you guys are well. Today's video is a short video about Starlink and how Starlink all of a sudden changed its options and business model here in Australia. This will affect many users, including myself, who only want to have Starlink connected for a few months a year. I also will give this new low-speed plan a test and see what kind of speed I get using it here in my backyard. So before we get into it, please share, like and subscribe, and if you can also let the video run in its entirety, because that helps to push the video out to more people due to the YouTube algorithm. So let's get into it.
Here's what's happened. Starlink has replaced their free pause option with something called standby mode. Instead of being able to completely pause your service at no cost, you now pay $5 USD monthly. That's roughly $8.50 Australian for what they call unlimited data at 500 kilobits per second. To put this in perspective, I haven't used my Starlink for the past 4 months. Under the old system, that cost me nothing. Under this new system, it would have cost me around 34 Australian dollars just to keep the service in standby. The problem isn't just the money, though $102 annually for unused service is significant. The real issue is that people made purchasing decisions based on one set of terms, and now those terms have been fundamentally altered. Now, let me show you what this 500 kilobit standby speed actually delivers in practice.
With the changes for the Starlink, where you can't suspend your plans anymore, but now you have to pay $8.95, I think it is, per month, and you supposedly get low speed data, which is enough for texting and so on. I wanted to see what kind of speeds I get from this. So let's have a quick look here and see where we go.
When I connected to the new low-speed standby plan, I found that Starlink's own software update still functions normally. That's worth noting. Running a speed test through Starlink's built-in diagnostics showed 1 megabits up and 0.7 megabits down. However, testing through speedtest.net gave results much closer to Starlink's advertised 0.5 megabits in both directions. This speed is sufficient for basic Facebook browsing, though it's noticeably slow. Text messaging works without issues, and I could retrieve weather information reliably. I attempted one phone call which failed though. I didn't test this extensively. Here's where it gets interesting for my usage pattern. I actually prefer limited connectivity when I'm out bush. Constant internet access defeats part of the purpose of getting away. Since Thuraya folded last year and I no longer have a satellite phone, this low-speed connection covers my essential needs: text messaging, weather forecasts, and occasional basic web browsing. For my specific requirements, this might actually not work in Starlink's favor. At roughly $108 annually for standby mode, compared to paying $80 a month when I normally activate full service, the numbers could work out better for me. The irony is that by forcing this paid standby option, they might have inadvertently created a budget solution that suits my minimal connectivity needs when traveling. However, I do understand that most people want to have full connectivity, and this is definitely an added cost. I also don't like that this just has been sprung up on me and really changes how the service was advertised. So yes, it technically provides internet connectivity, but calling it unlimited when it's throttled to speed slower than dial-up had in the 1990s feels disingenuous. These changes particularly affect people like me who use Starlink seasonally or for specific trips. For wheel-drive travelers, grey nomads, people with holiday properties, we purchased these equipment specifically because we could pause it when not needed. The Australian Communication and Media Authority has already warned Starlink about compliance issues with advertising and reporting requirements. The standby mode changes raises additional questions about misleading advertising under Australian consumer law. When you heavily market a product feature, in this case the ability to pause service, and then eliminate it shortly after people make purchasing decisions based on that feature, it is problematic. So what does that mean for us users? You now have three options. First, pay the standby fee and accept the slow speeds. For occasional users, this means a minimum annual cost increase of about $102. Completely cancel your service when not in use and reactivate when needed. Starlink says this is possible, but there is no guarantee your area will have capacity when you want to reactivate. They've also hinted a potential reactivation fee in their terms of service. From what I read, you also can't reactivate from within the app anymore, but you will need a web browser, and that means internet access to reactivate. Third, keep your service active year-round and pay the full monthly rate. For many seasonal users, this defeats the original value proposition entirely. Also, I should note that the $15 plan, which gave you 5 GB at full speed, and then you could purchase additional gigabytes reasonably cheap, a plan I really appreciated, has also been scrapped. None of these options match what was originally offered when people made their purchasing decisions. I understand companies need to adjust their business model, but changing fundamental features shortly after heavily marketing them crosses a line. This isn't a minor tweak, it's eliminating a key feature that influenced purchasing decisions. Starlink has provided excellent service technically, the coverage is impressive, the speeds when active are good, and it opened up connectivity in areas that previously had none. But this business practice undermines the trust that's essential for customer relationships. If you're considering Starlink, factor in that features you are relying on might not remain available. And if you are an existing customer feeling misled by these changes, consider lodging complaints with ACMA or your state's Consumer Protection Authority.
Yeah, guys, if you own Starlink, I'm really keen to hear what you think. Do you think that is an upgrade, as Starlink advertises it? In my opinion, it's not an upgrade. It is really a change of the terms of service because the pause feature is gone. The $15 Roma plan, which to be fair was also introduced later, so that was not part of the purchase decision when I purchased Starlink Mini because it didn't exist at the time. But I really like that $15 plan. I'm heading out for a trip hopefully next week, and then I will test out a bit more what I can do with these unlimited yet fairly restricted in speed plan, and maybe I don't need to sign up actually at all for any of the bigger plans and can use it for free. So that would be a great option. And if for any reason I really need bandwidth and faster speed, I obviously could always upgrade. So if you have Starlink and are affected by the changes, please let me know in the comment section. What is your opinion about it? Have you tested these unlimited free plan already? Let me also know what you can do in real life. I only conducted some very preliminary testings here at home, but I'm keen to see how well it actually works in the field. I hope this video was useful to you, especially if you also own Starlink. Don't forget to leave me your thoughts in the comment section. And if you want to support my channel, I would greatly appreciate if you could share, like and subscribe. And if you can afford it, it would be greatly appreciated if you could head over to Patreon or buy me a coffee. And with the equivalent of a cup of coffee or two per month, you can help me to stay independent and create these videos for you. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you along the tracks.